microphone.
Okay? Yeah. I'm on? All right. The biomass plant in Port Hawkesbury is not a sustainable way to generate electricity. At 20% efficiency, the operation is not carbon neutral. Whole tree harvesting and clear cutting destroy habitat, cause soil loss, and release carbon in the soil. 50 trucks a day from clear cuts are feeding this boiler, which only provides 4% of our electricity. Recently, it has been published that not running the plant full-time will save millions. This indicates a biomass power plant is also not financially viable. What is your party going to do about this non-sustainable electrical plant currently posing as a source of green energy?
And the question first goes to Devin.
Thank you very much for the question. I appreciate that you mentioned about how it's very unlikely and nearly impossible for the government to be able to say that they would ever reach a level of carbon neutral with this running. One of the things that our platform has highlighted is that we are committed to working toward a carbon neutral government, and while I can't speak to the specifics of that individual plant, I can say that we are very strongly committed to making sure that these things are going to happen, and we are going to make headway in terms of reducing our levels of carbon.
Okay. And next the question goes to Randy.
Yes, I've noticed, and I've been involved in the woods half my life, and clear cutting has begun in the 60s. This is not a new phenomenon, actually. It's been going on now for 60, 70 years. I can remember writing a paper regarding it in university in the 80s, trying to explain the fact that not only were the trees going to be destroyed and the habitat, but the water. The water was the big thing, and I can go back to places that have been clear cut in Hants County 50 years ago where I used to fish in beautiful, beautiful, pristine streams. You can't even find the water anymore, let alone any trees. The animals are gone, the fish are gone, the water is gone, and they say that they're going to, and at the time it was silviculture was the big buzzword. There's no such thing as silviculture in Nova Scotia, it's all monoculture. They plant the same species of tree so it'll grow quickly to feed their pulp mills and so on and so forth. We cannot sustain this type of devastation, and we will not. Should I become elected as an independent, I will have a strong voice, and I will have no regards as to whose toes I might step on, for I will have no political masters other than the electorate. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you for the question. I think the key there is not sustainable. I think you pointed that out. I think anything that we're investing in needs to be reviewed, and whether it's going to be sustainable in the long term and not just in the short term. To this end, we should closely review the department to determine if biomass is viable going forward. We need to ensure that our wood supply is put to the highest economic use possible, and if it's not sustainable, then I'm not sure that we should be doing it. Thank you.
And the question goes to Kevin.
Thanks very much for the great question. There's no question that our energy sources in Nova Scotia are outdated and certainly need to go green. That's certainly been the goal of our government. It's worth noting that the policy that governed the 100% run rate at that particular plant was put in place by the previous government, and it was rescinded by our government. So now the plant only burns biomass as required. So that's an important point. They only burn biomass when there is no other alternative source of fuel. Our government is doing great things to reduce greenhouse gases. Nova Scotia, in fact, leads the country in greenhouse gas reductions. We're moving towards a place where we're looking to increase the percentage of our energy sources that come from renewable sources such as wind, tidal, and solar. There's plenty of great programs that are in place, and in fact, one of the things that is a key is finding that balance. We can't completely shut off our existing sources of power. We all want to have the lights come on when we turn the light switch on, and so we have to find a balance to get there in a slow, sustainable fashion that is affordable to all Nova Scotians.
The next question is from Firefly Women's Association.